Okay, folks, section 5.7 probability. I love this stuff. I really do. And it's simple. I think you guys are going to just roll right through this, okay? But let's just read some information first. It says the probability of an event is a measure of the likelihood that an event will occur. Now, probability is measured on a scale from 0 to 1, okay? 0, if you get 0, that means it's impossible. It's as if you're rolling a die from 1 to 6, and the chances of you getting a 7, that's impossible. Now, if you get a probability of 1, that's certain, okay? So for instance, if I said, what are the chances of you getting a number of 1 through 6 if you roll a die? Well, 100%, okay? Now, to find the probability that an event will be favorable, divide the number of ways it can occur favorably by the number of ways the event will occur. All right? Now, they've got a nice little formula here for us, and I want us to remember this. But this is probability is equal to the number of favorable outcomes divided by the number of possible outcomes. Okay? Now, let's roll down here to number 1 and we'll get a better sense of this, okay? First, in this first example, it says there are 15 marbles in a jar, okay? I'm not even looking at the jar, but I know there are 15 marbles in it. 5 of them are green, 3 are blue, 6 are red, and 1 is yellow. Now, if I don't look at the jar, I just stick my hand in there and I randomly choose one marble, what is the probability that it will be red? Okay, now remember, probability equals favorable over possible. Okay? Now, I could pick any one of those 15 marbles. Okay? How many of those 15 are favorable? Well, I'm looking for red, and there are 6 red, so 6 are favorable. So the probability is equal to 6 over 15. I can reduce that. 3 goes into both of those 2 times and 5 times. And remember, I can give my answer as a fraction or as a decimal. They have them written as decimals up here, so we'll write them as a decimal as well. Now, some of you may know that 2/5 is equal to 4/10, and I write that decimal as 0.4. Okay? So there's a 0.4 is the probability that we'll choose a red from that jar. That means it's a 0.6 probability I won't. That's an interesting idea as well. Okay? Now let's look at the next one. The next one says a number octahedron. Okay, well basically that's a die, but it has 8 sides, okay, instead of 6. Is numbered from 1 through 8. If you toss the octahedron, what is the probability that the number that faces up is even? Well, remember, probability, and I'll abbreviate, is equal to favorable over possible. Well, how many different numbers could land face up? 8 different numbers. Out of those 8, how many of them are even? Well, let's think about this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many of these numbers are even? Well, 2, 4, 6, and 8. So 4 of those are even. So 4 out of 8. So what's the probability? Well, you guys know that 4 over 8 is a half, and I represent a half as 0.5 as a decimal. So the probability of an even number landing face up is 0.5. Even chance, right? 0.5 that it won't show up. All right? That we'll get an odd that faces up. All right, now let's look at this last one. Now this last one's going to take a while, so we'll probably have to go to another video. Not too much longer, but we don't quite have enough time here. But let's just go ahead and introduce it. It says, example number 3. You were planning a softball game for Saturday. A local weather station reports that there is a 30% chance of rain on Saturday. Your coach estimates that your team has a 50% chance of winning. What is the probability that it will not rain and your team will win? Okay, so that's our problem. I'm going to stop the video here. We'll pick it up right here with the next one.